anything important that you want to jump in with, please feel free to do that. So just to give you a bit of background information and some information I think you'll probably gives a bit of clarity to what I'll say later on. The national tourist boards within Great Britain have all come together, commissioned tracking research to measure UK residents' holiday intentions. And the latest, I wanted to give you a little bit of background information here, which hopefully gives you a bit of food for thought, perhaps, and helps you understand where business might be coming from in the forthcoming year. So the latest UK consumer tracker reports on survey results as of the end of last year, December 2021. So it's very, very current. And these are based on UK consumers, and they looked at, I think that the results are based around survey that was done around the first week in December. It was carried out by partners at Visit Britain. Just to give a wee bit of background here before I go into this, the first case of, if you all remember this, sadly, the first case of Omicron variant was announced at the end of the 24th of November. I think it was a week 20, commencing 24th of November. So as a consequence, the attitudes and intentions to travel and the views of the current situation are slightly negative, a bit more negative as you might expect, and the confidence in the ability to travel is a bit lower due to the anticipated restrictions at the time. So to give you a few key, what I'd say key takeaways from the latest research that's come out, national mood is sitting at currently at 6.6 out of 10 in terms of propensity to travel. 29% of UK adults believe the worst has passed with regards to COVID-19. 32% said they are fairly or very confident that they'll be able to take an overseas trip by the end of 2022. The majority of January UK trips have already been planned, with around 3 in 10 already booked. Generally, overseas trips are likely to be booked closer to the travel date, and I'll come to that in a bit more detail in a few moments' time. We'll see that the actual booking window for overseas trips has dropped quite significantly over the period of the pandemic, basically. At the moment, the top 3 barriers for domestic trips are personal finances, that's number 1, restrictions on travel from the government, and number 3, the weather. The top 3 barriers for overseas trips are as we already heard from somebody mentioned at the start of the call, restrictions on travel from government, risk of quarantine, and again, personal finances. Now, when asked to compare the next 12 months trip intentions to the past 12 months intentions, positively, 31% of UK adults expect to take more domestic trips in 2022. And that compare and contrast that, 21% expect to take more overseas trips. 55% intend to take domestic trips in over the next 12 months of this year, while 44% intend to take an overseas trip. Now, figure that into your logic for the coming year, and ask from that perspective, if you consider that the increased propensity of travellers to take trips around the UK, how is your business ready for that? How are you ready to accept bookings? So the question we ask or I always ask at this stage of proceedings is, what can be invisible? And the simple, stupid answer to that is, sadly, your business can be invisible if you don't have the correct means to display it online and the correct technology at your disposal to ensure that as many people are finding out about your business as possible. So you see there a figure of 60% that's the estimated current percentage of consumers worldwide who are booking travel online. Now, that's worldwide. According to ABTA, the figure for the UK is over 80%. 80% of UK customers are booking their holidays online. So a question I would ask all of you is, how have you all adapted your business to changes in technology, to changes in booking behaviour and customer priorities that have arisen as a result of COVID? Now, we all know that uncertainty from COVID, and we've seen this over the past month, will continue to be a constant in travel and tourism in 2022. And while we can't change or predict every new government intervention or new surprise and challenge that's in store for us, we can embrace technology in order to make things easier for potential visitors and potential guests. Having, I suppose, that and bearing that in mind will help you navigate the unknown. At this point in mind, we just received some. At this point, I pass on. We just received some research from Booking.com, their 2022 traveller survey, that they expect to see even wider adoption of predictive technologies, which can help travellers make more informed decisions, especially considering that 2/3 would be interested in an innovative service that could predict which countries would be safe to travel to. So have a thought about that. Have a think about that. How do you help customers understand every aspect of their travel or trip experience when it comes to making a booking at your hotel, at your experience at your restaurant? Is it easy for them to understand the process that they need to go through whilst they're in that booking phase? So no matter how accurate any machine learning, from my own perspective, no matter how accurate any machine learning predictions might be, in order for everyone to truly embrace our new unpredictable normal, the broader travel industry will continue to, I suppose, will have to prioritize flexibility. As from the Booking.com research, travellers rank reassurance that they won't lose money highest. I think they came out with a figure of 42%. And I'll come to this in a wee bit more detail later on as well. 42% want to make that booking knowing that there's an easy and cost-free cancellation process in place. So that's something that you should definitely all bear in mind. The number of customers that we receive inquiry, or visitors to Scotland, sorry, who query the whole process of coming to Scotland, from can my flight, if I have to cancel my flight, can I be recompensed for that? If I have to cancel accommodation, every aspect of their journey, they now want to know about that. So if you don't offer free cancellations, then at least make sure you're telling people in very simple terms what the cancellation process is. In fact, you might even have to set up a new section on your website to do this and make it as simple as possible for folk. That'd be one of my bits of information or takeaways that I would say to you all today, is consider how easy it is for people to find out that crucial information, and then consider how easy it is for people to actually make the booking itself. I heard somebody mentioning Viator earlier on. They're one of the large OTAs that are at play in Scotland, but here's a whole host of booking systems. I know we've got a variety of operators on the call today, some accommodation businesses. I think we've got some eating and drinking establishments, and I've seen got some experiences examples on there. So in light of those stats that I just gave to you about the 60% worldwide and 80% in the UK, you should all at least have invested, be researching or at least looking to invest in an online booking system. COVID-19 has made the use of an online booking system was Fergus or Stuart, was there problems with
sorry, that was me. Sorry about that. Sorry.
I'm just worried about my connection here. So
no, you're fine. That was me. Sorry.
Grand. So we estimate that around between 55 and 65% of Scottish accommodation businesses are using an online booking system, but far fewer experiences, probably around 25 to 35%, have one. And I would say that it's especially important for visitor attractions, tours and activity providers to consider using online booking systems, especially from the point of view of capacity control, which is so crucial at the moment with the restrictions we have in place. I was just booking a cinema ticket earlier on today and realizing and looking at the numbers of seats that I thought would be available, and the number of seats available to book in the cinema have been reduced quite significantly, so that the show time that I actually wanted was fully booked as a consequence. Some seats weren't available because of social distancing as well. So from the point of view of capacity control, from the point of view of making, as I mentioned, making visitors aware of T's and C's around their visit, around their booking, from the perspective of contactless payments and ticketing, and especially at the moment with the number of staff members that have to isolate or
Hi Andy, how you doing?
Hello, somebody's just
I've just muted them. It's okay.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, so the staff management, yes, so for ensuring you can manage your staff and ensuring there's, I suppose, less face-to-face interactions. So online booking system, not just an availability calendar, it allows guests and visitors to make an online simple terms, allows them to make an online transaction, purchasing a hotel room, a cottage rental, an attraction ticket, space in a tour, so on and so forth. And most of the online booking systems that especially the ones that I just mentioned there, they can all be found, and I'll put a link on the chat in due course, but they're all found on visitscotland.org, and there's information about all of those on our industry-facing website, visitscotland.org. Most of them, in fact, I think all of them, have channel management functionality, and that allows you to, channel management functionality, if you're not aware of it, allows you to distribute your products, your hotel rooms, to online travel agents. Somebody mentioned Viator earlier on. Now, online travel agents will increase your discoverability. Think of them as advertising spaces that you can only pay for if you receive business from them. So you might spend a lot of money on the likes of Google AdWords or email marketing campaigns, but they might only bring in lookers, as Chris Torres is always on about. They might not bring in bookers. Chris's favourite phrase, turning lookers to bookers. OTAs have loyal customers who are ready to book and will often use them instead of carrying out multiple searches online. So I would say I've listed a few there from an experiences perspective. You've got Musement Tickets, Viator, which is part of TripAdvisor, and Get Your Guide are probably the four most well-known, four biggest, I would hesitate to say, in terms of Scottish coverage and in terms of staff members who work in Scotland, and they are all at the moment actively looking at or looking to take on board new clients in Scotland. They do charge commission fees, but as I mentioned, you only pay that commission if you actually get a booking. And don't forget that many experiences systems as you see there with the Royal Yacht Britannia, also offer a link or a connection allowing you to sell directly on Google. It used to be called, from an experiences perspective, Reserve with Google. It's now changed to Google's Things to Do, and that allows you to sell your tickets directly on Google. If you sell with OTAs, that'll be the prices of your tickets with OTAs will also be shown there. Give you a bit of background information. Actually, we've just heard this. I thought that you might like to know about this from Tickets. At the moment, their focus is primarily on museums and tours. They're chiefly city focused, but what they've said to us, that's Tickets themselves, but from pretty much all of the OTAs, they've said that the booking lead time, I mentioned this earlier, was pre-pandemic was over 5 days, but this is now dropped to around about 2.8 days for attractions, tours and activity providers. Around about 2.8 days, just somewhere between 2 and 3. And during the pandemic, as I mentioned, they've found that customers have been extremely cancellation sensitive, and they recommend a fully flexible ticket. That is showing fully flexible tickets have the greatest level of demand. All of the main booking OTAs have all seen a sharp drop in international bookings during the pandemic, and they've suggested that whilst it'll improve in 2022, it will still not be anywhere near the levels of pre-pandemic. So from my perspective, I would say to all of you, think of your own product. Are you set up for the domestic market? Is your website content aimed at domestic visitors and guests? And then some research from the OTAs has shown that there's an increasing uptake in experiential products, whereby consumers want to be more involved in a destination, and these are often packaged alongside larger flagship experiences or attractions. On that note, what I would say is that some people sometimes complain, well, you know, the commission levels can range anything between 15 and 30% for some of these OTAs. But think a bit, as the old cliche phrase goes, think a bit outside the box about what you're selling. Or if you're willing to and want to increase your discoverability, think about what you're selling and increase the value of what you're selling on the OTA websites. I mentioned Tickets, and one of the things that they've suggested was selling more or selling VIP experiences, should I say, and perhaps offering your basic admission, perhaps in your own website, but changing the name of the product that you sell on the OTA website. So perhaps it's a gold option or a premium option, and that allows you to ensure that your margins aren't quite so tight. So perhaps you might add a souvenir onto the checkout process. Stonehenge, I know this because I had to look at their website recently. Stonehenge in England were one of the first to adopt this, and they've added a guidebook into the process of, so if you book with one of the OTAs, you get a free, it's a bit more expensive than you would pay on perhaps on their own website, but they added in extra options into the process as a guidebook. I think there was a voucher for the restaurant as well. And they sold, within the first 3 months, they sold over 500 guidebooks, which was, for them, was pretty phenomenal. And then lastly, creating packages. I've mentioned this on previous occasions, but one thing you can do in OTAs, and they like it when you do this, is to work with partner organizations or partner businesses. Perhaps if you're organizing a walking tour, you can work hand in hand with a local restaurant or somewhere that you'll be passing during the walking tour. If you're organizing a walking tour in a city, you might include a walking tour that includes an entrance to Edinburgh Castle, and the ticket will include, your walking tour ticket will include an entrance to Edinburgh Castle. So by packaging together experiences, or by packaging together even working with accommodation businesses, you're able to again increase the value of what you're able to sell on these OTA websites. A lot of good information on OTAs and on booking systems is found on the Travel Tech Directory, if you're not already aware of that. It's an interactive directory designed to help tourism businesses with tech. I'll put a link to it in the chat as well, with tech inspiration ideas, as well as a lot of recommendations and solutions. So you've got visitscotland.org with a lot of useful information, and then Travel Tech. A lot of the technology solutions based on Travel Tech are actually based in Scotland as well. There's some from the rest of the world, some from the rest of the world, but a lot of them are from Scotland, and they offer solutions for anything from online booking and ticketing to creating podcasts, app development, and things around social distancing solutions as well. And one final thing I think about, if you are finding that your international visitors are significantly down, you can perhaps have a think about Amazon Explore, and they've jumped into the mix. Amazon's jumped into the mix. Amazon Explore offers a range of virtual experiences around the world. Many experiences are hosted by well-known tour companies, and the experiences all appear to be private and are in the sort of $20 to $30 range. So if you're a tourism experiences business, have a think about this. Or if you're in a restaurant, have a think about this as well. You can offer customizable interactive shopping experiences, as you can see, hopefully from this. Yeah, as you can see, this business, it looks like it's a Scottish business, but it's actually a business based in Sheffield. And you can go on and they'll walk you around the shop, showing you one of their quakes getting made, and you can make a purchase at the time as well. If you, I'll not show I've run out of time, but on you can search for a little video on Amazon Explore as well, which allows you to see what you can sell, walking tours on Amazon, so that you can have somebody who's logging on from America and they see you walking around Edinburgh or wherever it might be. It allows customers to book small group experiences, one-on-one experiences, and I think it's up to 7 customers can experience the same live tour, for example, together. So that's something to bear in mind. You can, if you look on YouTube for introducing Amazon Explore, there's a very simple 30-second video that gives you a bit of information about it. So that might be something else. If you think, okay, I can't sell my tours or I can't sell as many tours this year to businesses or to customers from America or abroad, but I can give them an idea of what they can experience if they were here in person. And then finally, Visit Scotland offers free digital reviews. Our industry relationship managers take an hour or 2 hours to look through your digital presence, your website, your social media presence, your level of online bookability, a little bit on SEO as well. And then they feed back to you. For all of this is free. They feed back to you with some advice and perhaps some hints about what you might want to do to improve your digital presence. So I've put on the screen there a little email address. If you want to have a free digital review with Visit Scotland, if you've not already had one, then send an email to customer.service@visitscotland.com. You don't have to be part of Visit Scotland's QA grading scheme. All we ask is that you are a tourism business. You're not a start yet. You're not in the startup process. You're already an existing tourism business, so that we have something tangible to look at. Stuart, that pretty much wraps up my time, I think. I've got some time to answer questions if you want to do it just now, or I can do it later on. Happy to help out.
Yeah, there's a few questions coming through there. You can just stop sharing your screen, and that way we can then go over there and we'll come through some of these questions. I mean, some interesting viewpoints there and stuff about, you know, the online routes to market. The